Here they are, the legends. They turned around and left.
They have left. They got scared.
Hey, come up here with me.
Come on, friends. Come on down.
They thought we were- Well, this is now is officially a party.
Townsend, Barry, Cam, welcome. Kevin just introduced himself as Peter Laird.
Where are you sitting, Kev?
Right here.
All right.
All right.
You know,
Welcome, welcome.
You know, Kevin, you have to do all the wisecracks now because Rob isn't here.
Rob isn't here, so
I don't
it's
think
your
I
job.
could never live up to the legend of Rob Paulson.
Oh, come on.
But
So you can do the smart ass, can't you?
so contestant one, I mean, you know, we'll play the dating game. If we went on a date, what would be
Wait.
What would be the perfect scenario?
Let me answer.
Are you sort of wine and dine, or is it just a no?
Later, Kevin.
So, hey guys, you guys know who these guys are? You
I guess you've heard that a time or two.
No, it's funny because just before you guys got here, we were going over some of the early history of Turtles. So we got to the comics, and this young lady asked about the tank that I had at one time that I had to terrorize the neighbors. So we were just getting to the evolution of Turtles from comics into the cartoon show, and what is so fascinating, why I love these guys for so many reasons, besides they're the sweetest, nicest, and coolest guys, but these guys put voices to our characters. Peter and I, when we wrote them, when we were doing the comics, we had our own little voices in them, but nothing, you know, until finally when you
And
heard it,
you heard us, you went, no.
fire every one of them. This theme song, who's this Chuck Lorre guy? He's never going to go anywhere.
Some wannabe. You
He's
guys
a
know
wannabe.
that story, right?
You know that story?
I don't
That
know
Chuck
it.
Lorre, who of course was the executive producer and created Big Bang Theory and How I Met My Mother and all these great shows, a multi-billionaire guy, wrote the theme song to our cartoon show.
And absolutely.
And you didn't know that?
I do know that.
Oh, you do know, yeah.
And just messing.
And he performed it. And he also did, if you remember the theme song where, like, you know, Michelangelo, the party do, party!
Yeah, I remember
all those
that
little
part.
extraneous voices. That's Chuck.
Yeah.
Wow.
It was so neat. We were lucky enough. Have you
How
guys?
did he get that gig?
Well, that's what he was doing, and I thought it was an interesting bit in Two and a Half Men when he had Charlie Sheen with that Charlie Waffles character, the
Yeah.
children's musician. But that actually is what he did when he started. He was writing jingles for commercials, jingles for you know, that was just trying to get into the business. And Courtney and I were lucky enough to meet him. We were invited to watch a taping of The Big Bang. And I got to sit in Sheldon's spot. We did, Courtney and I did.
Wow.
But we got to meet Chuck, and we just said, you know, what a great thing, and it was fantastic. So we remember when, I think they sent 3 tapes, and I think he did all of them, 3 different versions of the song. We just remember hearing his, and even Peter was like, "This is it. This is great." And
So were you active in choosing the voices?
everything, yeah, we chose everything. You know, honestly, we did. We were even Fred Wolf has a different spin on it, but he's
Of course he
crazy.
does.
Yeah.
We won't go into that too deeply, but
We'll be
all
here till
agree.
5 just going over the problems with
Well,
Fred
we
Wolf.
are honored, Mr. Creator.
We are.
Well-
Mr. God Figure. To be here, not only with you now, but to have brought us on this insane
Oh, thank
journey.
you. No, well,
Truly.
Yeah, no, seriously. Yeah, right.
And I just want to know who was your first choice for Leonardo? who wasn't available?
As Richard Burton was the first choice. So he said, can't. No, and we had to put a shout out to Peter Laird officially because he's the original co-creator. We couldn't have done it. I couldn't have done what I did without Peter. It was this wonderful moment, this wonderful time. And we were very lucky in those early days with you know, we were inspired. I mentioned Jack Kirby, who was a big inspiration when we were growing up as creator / co-creator of most of the Marvel Universe. And we felt so lucky and so honored that a hero like Jack not only oftentimes didn't get to participate in the furtherance or the exploration of cartoons and movies and things like that with his characters or profit from them. And so we knew how lucky we were that when we had control over a creation that was all ours, and to be able to say, we will not approve a TV episode without us reading it and approving it, and the voices and the theme songs, because we wanted that kind of control. We didn't want them to say, hey, wouldn't it be funny if they were sloths and not turtles, or they were something else. And so even when the agent we talked to, we had in those days, he said, you'll never get that right. And we said, well, then we won't do it. We wanted to be comic book artists, and if we can't go forward in a way that we have control over characters, we wouldn't do it. So we were very lucky and very cocky, naive, and very, very, very
Youth will do that.
Yeah.
And you
We
took
were
us
much
into
younger
the Seth
then.
Rogen era now. So
What's that crazy? Isn't that awesome? It's one that's been so amazing, this journey, because how many episodes?
193.
And do you guys know that one of the things that was one of my most exciting moments out of San Diego Comic-Con this year is Paramount let me announce that finally all those episodes are coming back to TV. I think they did Paramount Plus.
What's that about?
And Nickelodeon, and
Yeah, so Nickelodeon, Paramount got the rights to all those original episodes, and so they're going to stop putting them out. I think they'll do Paramount Plus and Hulu and a bunch of other things. So now we all get to see them all again.
And a whole new generation can
In a whole new
decide
generation.
whether it holds up after 35 years.
Well, ask these guys. It's funny. Even a gentleman was here today with his daughter, I think,
Yeah.
and he was saying that he loved them originally, and as their child got interested in them, they fell in love with the original series.
we hear that so often,
Yeah.
with the DVDs, and now, of course, it being on the air, but with the DVDs, all you folks out there who are, 40, 45, and you got your own families now, and you're raising your kids on the DVDs, it's such a joy. I mean, it really is to meet you guys and to meet your families, especially when you show up in the Ninja Turtle outfits and you got the little 3-year-old and in a
I gotta tell
onesie
you,
or whatever. It's
something else.
For
When
Halloween too.
yeah, there you go.
when I was growing up, I don't know about the rest of you guys, cartoons were not a family affair. Maybe the Flintstones or the Jetsons.
Yep.
But you couldn't get me out of bed for school. But Saturday morning, I'm up at 6:30 with a bowl of sugar bombs and watched everything. But I'm by myself, and I think most kids were not. But it is so cool to hear from so many of you that it is a family affair. Who saw that coming?
No,
It just makes my heart
Yeah, me too.
keep beating.
It really is, and because I always say that, people ask, did you know? Actually, a gentleman was up at the tables and he said, so did you know this was going to be this big when you first started doing it? I said, oh yeah, of course, Peter and I knew, hands down. We were like, we were, I think I had 3 jobs as well as drawing the comics. So we were worried about paying next month's rent, but we
What
loved
were your
it.
jobs?
I worked in an art store. I worked in a restaurant called Horse Feathers. It was in Dover, New Hampshire, where we created the turtles. But my favorite job was part-time, but I had it 2 days a week, and I worked at it was called the In-Town Motel. No-Tell Motel. No, it wasn't. No, it was an In-Town Motel, and I loved it because I had the 11 to 7 shift. And so I'd sit at the front and
11 p.m.
11 p.m. Yeah, to 7 in the morning, and so I could draw all night. So I'd sit there at the desk, check in the occasional drunk person, and send them off to the room, and then I'd sit there and draw all night. It was great.
And you were a dental hygienist, I think, at that time too, right?
And a flight attendant, hygienist, part-time gardener. So there's a bit of everything, but it is.
Kind of like a jack of all trades.
Yes, and that's I grew up in a very small town in Maine, and grew up along the coast, and we had Memorial Day to Labor Day to make enough money to survive the winter if we could. And so I cooked a lot of lobsters for tourists, stuff like that. But no, anything you wanted, you worked for it. So how about you guys? What were some of your first jobs? I want to hear what you guys started, because you've done voices.
I was 3.
It's true. Yeah, Barry was a child actor.
Well, 4. When I was 3, I won an amateur contest on television. So
Awesome.
it was a show called the Ted Mack Amateur Hour, and I did that show. And then when I was 4, I went on a show that featured kid talent. So I was the youngest on the show, and another person who became kind of a 50s recording icon, Connie Francis.
Jeez, that's
She
awesome.
was the oldest person on the show. I was the youngest person on the show at 4. It was called Star Time. And that was my first job. Yeah.
That's great. That's awesome. Well, besides the paper route, my first real job was I was scooping ice cream at Baskin Robbins. Yeah, when I was 15.
Well, I can't beat Barry's age of 3, but likewise, come close. At the age of 6,
Yep.
my family started our TV show, The King Family, and the only day of straight, how do you say that? Day of straight day of work? What?
I don't say it that way, but you
How do you, straight job. There you go, straight job.
Legal
I-
employment.
I didn't get paid, but a friend needed some help at the Halloween shop at Sears. And it was in downtown LA, and since I speak fluent Spanish, I was able to help out, and I went, ooh, cash register, look, button. And the saddest part was people coming in Halloween, and the kids going, I want to be this, and I'm looking at the shelf going, how about a pitchfork and alligator tail? But that's the only time I've been behind a cash register.
No, it's
So
funny.
did you know that people would be you on Halloween for the next
Years later.
35 years?
Funny little side note,
Yeah.
with my family's TV show back in the mid-1960s, a couple of kids came dressed to our house, not knowing who we were, as us. One of our costumes was we had these white sweaters with our names across it and white pants, and a couple of girls came as a couple of my cousins and blah, 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 and we're like, guys, it's us. I mean, it's not us, but it's us. So that was pretty trippy.
That's awesome. And it's funny you mentioned Connie Francis. There's a lot of people that ask, like, where's
She was the original Leonardo, right?
Yeah, she was. Original April.
Original April.
No, but that was when we had things. People said, "Where did you come up with terms like cowabunga?" And you guys have said radical cowabunga a billion times in your life. And that was I grew up in, like I said, a small town in Maine, and I remember watching this TV movie, which I thought was filmed on a different planet. And it was called Beach Blanket Bingo.
Yeah.
Yeah, Nat Furnicello, Frankie Avalon, and just those guys out there, and I'm like going, what the? And it's like, hang 10, dude, cowabunga, and they were all dancing on the beach, and I was like, oh my god. That was
Yeah, maybe that's how you got the surfer talk.
That's how they get the surfer talk.
That's
That was
where
a lot of that was
that's where
David.
Michelangelo was.
David Wise brought that. David and Patty brought that in originally, but I loved it. It was like all the we just cowabunga, and then Bart Simpson stole it from. No, we didn't.
So I guess I have a question that only you can answer because I am constantly asked it and I can't answer it because I don't remember. I don't think I was ever called Donnie on our version of the series.
Wow.
I don't think I was ever called Leo.
And I don't
Were
think
we?
I was ever called Mikey.
So when did that
Really?
start?
That's a really good
Like
question. No,
later-
I think you're right. I think it was always
Sort of a later
full-
iteration.
Donatello.
Donatello or Raphael or
Mikey, I think maybe, but
Yeah.
yeah, I think.
And here's a little niggling detail question because it
Because
comes
we got
up,
the guy,
right?
you know?
Yeah,
So
we're just as
originally-
fascinated to have him as you are.
So originally, Michelangelo was spelled like Michael, Machael, Angelo, and then that changed to Michel, Angelo, somewhere along the way. And
Is that a secret message from outer space or something?
But it's just funny before you guys got here. I was telling these guys about all the homework and paying attention to school. I missed out in how many great drawings I had taken away during when I was supposed to be paying attention in English class. I was doing something else. So Peter and I had this idea when we named the characters after Renaissance artists. Leonardo came first, Michelangelo second, Raphael, and that basically that order. And then Donatello was actually a discussion for about 2 weeks because he was almost named Bernini.
Wow.
Because I like Bernini as a sculptor better. But Peter and I
Bernie.
but
Wow.
both Peter and I hated doing the lettering. He was a much better speller than I was, so both Peter and I hated doing the lettering, but my handwriting was neater. And so he let me do it. So all those years of not paying attention in English, Michelangelo, Michael.
So it's just your bad, poor spelling.
It was my bad, poor spelling. we were at some show, and it's like, because even, the Michelangelo one-shot, the Christmas special, and it's got the misspelling on the cover, and somebody said, you spelled Michelangelo wrong, and I went, we do? And he goes, yeah. And I said, so you knew? And he goes, yeah. But I thought it was funny. I said, you let me embarrass myself all these years by misspelling Michelangelo?
Kevin, have you seen the Picasso turtle that's floating around? It would have been hard to animate. They got a Pablo Picasso as the fifth turtle, and it's like his eyes are here and his arms over here.
Yeah, so, it's funny, I've seen, and I don't think they did a Picasso one, but it was one of the great honors, especially in the early years of the Turtles, when we get parodied by Mad Magazine. Right. They finally did it. The Alfred E. Newman as a turtle on the cover. But on the back, one of the regular artists that would do these, funny little bits, and it was the other turtles that weren't, so they had like a Matisse and a Van Gogh and some other. So I wonder if they did. I have to pull it out.
The turtles that didn't make it.
That didn't make it.
As long as we're asking you questions, Kevin. Since
Well, you're
this
gonna have
is
to be real fast.
oh shoot,
Oh, we're running
already?
behind. We're running.
Okay,
We're
then-
running. We're running.
What time are we done?
So soon.
Okay.
20 minutes ago.
Go ahead, Cam.
How many minutes we have left?
3.
Oh shit, never mind. I'll ask you privately.
You guys can all go on strike if you want.
So are we done too?
Yeah, we're done. Okay.
We're done. So,
Wow.
Everybody's
Okay.
done.
so
I know,
let's
I
take
know.
one question then from folks.
One.
One.
Oh, no.
Oh, now you're making it.
Barry said it. So
Oh,
we've
I
got
know, but someone has a right to ask a question. So,
Front row, center.
okay,
All right.
go for it.
I want to ask a question. So, in any time, did you ever tell your boss, I don't want to be Leonardo, I prefer to be Michael?
Okay, you know the story I was going for earlier, but we're out of time. So, okay, it was a toss-up. You know this, right? Between who is Mikey and who is Leonardo.
At the very beginning.
At the very beginning,
session.
literally, they tossed a coin to see which of us was going to be Leo or Mikey.
Oh, no way.
And
Really?
We were. Oh, you don't know this?
No, I didn't know that.
The first recording session,
Yeah.
they hadn't decided between the two of us who we were going to play.
And they
So-
said after the first rehearsal, after break, we'd switch. Because I wanted to be Mikey. All these people know this. And
So
we came back into the room, and I go, so we're going to switch, right? And they're like, yeah, no, we're good. But you said you were going to switch.
So we did one pass with me as Michelangelo to begin, and Cam as Leonardo, and then after the break, we just never switched. I said, well, so now you want me to do Leonardo? And he said, no, just keep it the way it is for now. We'll worry about it later. And I'm like, later? How is that going to happen? Okay, fine. So I ended up doing Michelangelo again, and then for the next 10 years.
So, who did you choose for Michelangelo?
Yeah, I'm really curious.
Well, see, the best part of
staying
that.
out of this. I'm staying out of this.
So I think that, this is what I remember, because it's like once they sent us into samples, and we liked the sound of all the voice, the ones that we found, I said, this sounds great, this sounds great, but I think it was what it was originally. But then when we didn't get to see it in its in motion until we got the sample tapes of because they only did 5 episodes originally.
Right.
And so when we got them in, there was no music, there was no final edits, there was no music, and it was just the voices. So that's the first time we actually saw them in that form. Besides saying this one's, you're Donatello, and so it's the first time.
But you could have let me try, Michelangelo!
Yeah, and my Michelangelo, I just ripped it off from Cam.
The original Valley Boy.
It all worked out perfect.
Yeah,
That's true.
thank you.
Well,
Well, I think so.
y'all,
You guys-
I'm
when
so
you guys-
sorry to have to cut this off.
I know,
I hate
honestly,
it. I hate
we were we had such an awesome time at the table signing with you all, and I know we're going back there soon. And
Yes.
where are you guys from here? Because I think we're doing photo ops, and then you guys are.
We're going to the
We're
table.
going back to
You're
our
going to
tables.
the table.
Yeah.
And so I'm doing photos.
We're gonna
So
try
if you got
we're gonna-
questions,
We're going
Just
to try
come
and
on
I'm asking.
we're going to try and steal some of your line.
Yeah.
We got to end
Thank
though.
you, thank you.
Everybody,
On the count of
so here
three.
we go. On the count of 3, turtle power. You ready? 1, 2, 3.
Turtle Power!
Thank you, guys. See you soon.
Cam Barry and Townsend and Cam.
Thank you.